We continue talking football, and the English Premier League enters its 13th round this weekend. Erling Haaland's 17 goals puts him well ahead of rivals in the race for the Golden Boot. But an injury picked up midweek in the Champions League clash at Borussia Dortmund makes him doubtful for Man City's trip to Leicester on Saturday. Ahead of the match, Man City manager Pep Guardiola was coy about whether his star man would be available.
Well, it's got to start with Erling Haaland. How fit is he, and is he available for selection this weekend?
He feels better, but we are training this afternoon and we'll assess in a few hours.
What's the problem, and how difficult a balance is it to, kind of, obviously he's so important to the team, but obviously, like everybody, he needs sort of rest and recuperation as well?
No, we'll see how does he feeling. He's fit. So, and after we'll decide.
How difficult does that make your job? 24 hours before a game, not knowing whether one of your...
No, 24 hours, no. I will know it in 2 hours, if he's able to play or not.
Man City away to Leicester looks like a tricky fixture for the champions. If Haaland doesn't recover, how much of an impact, George and Lance, do you see this having on City's victory charge?
Leicester have found form. Well, how do I say that? Leicester looked good last time out. There was a 4-0 win. But you can't trust Leicester. They are up and down. And it doesn't take... For the teams that really go at them, Leicester have folded this season. I don't think Haaland's absence makes City's job that much more difficult because they have a few weapons. Although, do not discount the fact that, you know what, Mariah? Revisiting my answer, the question you ask is a critical one, because we don't realize, with the absence of Gabriel Jesus and Raheem Sterling, who are gone, the proven campaigners that City were able to call upon to create goals and to finish moves created by the team, that has been weakened. Julian Alvarez has started brightly, but he will need time to find his feet at the EPL level and to show the kind of consistency that City will demand, because, I mean, playing in the Argentine top flight is a whole universe away from what the EPL is. And the team is now programmed for Haaland. So people say, oh yeah, but the City is packed with match winners. Riyad Mahrez is out of form totally. Jack Grealish has never looked a £1 million player.
Know why they bought.
Less of all a £100 million player. Kevin De Bruyne will create, but who will finish? So Haaland's absence potentially provides a tricky patch for City. But I could say this and City run out 5-0 winners, or I could say this and Leicester hold on for a 1-1 draw, 2-2 draw, or even pinch a 3 points.
Well, Maddison has been really good for Leicester. He's been, making them look like a force to be reckoned with. And George, I have to agree with you with City, because when Haaland was rested for one of the Champions League match, City looked like a shadow of themselves.
Yeah, so that was away to Copenhagen.
Right, so I have to say that it's a major concern for me, because I feel as if the team now has been playing to suit Erling Haaland. So with him being out, what happens?
Yeah, but he's still listed as questionable, so it's not 100% sure that he isn't playing.
The way Pep talked is like, we don't know.
Well, George just mentioned, well, he qualified what he said, because you initially said Leicester in form, but they've won their last two, Leeds and Wolves, the last one 4-0, but they had two good last games. But that by itself, doesn't represent.
And I'll say to you that a Football Factory 11 could beat Wolves, and Leeds are in a wretched run of form.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So two good wins over Wolves and Leeds may be a little bit misleading as to how good Leicester City are playing at the moment. I think without Haaland, City will still be comfortable here. I don't see Leicester City as a threat. And
to put something else into the mix, Leicester City's struggles have been largely due to the decline of Jamie Vardy.
Yeah.
I mean, Jamie Vardy for so long was the gift that kept on giving. Among the top scorers in the EPL every season. He looks like a pensioner these days.
Leicester was the team that used to be in the top four.
Leicester won the championship in 2015 under Claudio Ranieri.
Right.
2016, beg your pardon. 15-16, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I always go back to when the season started. So, so they have that in their locker, but there's not a pedigree team, and it's odd to say that about a former champion of recent memory. But Vardy's decline is largely responsible.
The fact is, pretty much all the time that Leicester City were strong, Vardy was prolific.
Yeah.
The
20 plus goals per season.
Leicester City's.
No, but Maddison has been good for them, I have to say.
He alone won't do it though.
Against a City team.
Yeah, and Maddison for me, the thing is, I'm not a James Maddison fan because I don't like dainty footballers. James Maddison strikes me as this dainty kind of player that it infuriates me to watch.
You mean
No.
Mesut Ozil like?
No, man. No.
I like
Mesut Ozil is smooth and he's artistic. But when I say dainty, I mean you're on the ball, you get a tackle and like you take umbrage to being tackled and it's a contact sport. That's what I mean, a little daintiness.
Okay.
My producer said David Beckham. David Beckham was never dainty. David Beckham was rough and tumble, but very artistic. And the fact is, there's a player from Newcastle that every time I see James Maddison, I'm reminded of that player. He didn't stay long. I think he stayed for a season and a half, called Remy Cabella. He's now back playing in the French league, or he's a Frenchman. Yeah. Very dainty. And I'm saying, but these dainty guys, this is football, a contact sport. Yeah. This is not for you. You should do crocheting or something like that.
Or curling.
Well, curling is almost a contact sport because other people are on the ice with you. So there's a potential for that. You should play something where you're by yourself.
All right, let's talk about a footballer that isn't that dainty. Cristiano Ronaldo, he scored on Thursday as Man United beat FC Sheriff 3-0 in the Europa League. Should Ten Hag start him against West Ham on Sunday in the EPL? Do you see him starting?
Given how West Ham will play, West Ham will defend deep. So there isn't the likelihood that there'll be a lot of space to run into. That's where you'll need Rashford. When the team is coming at you, and is prepared to engage you toe-to-toe and will want to challenge you for the majority of ball possession. Then when the lead space is in behind, that's when you need your fast players like Rashford. So I see Rashford not starting against West Ham, and if Rashford isn't starting, the only other option is CR7 because Anthony Martial continues to be affected by injury. So yes, and there's a hunger about Ronaldo. People have said a lot about this man since the season started. And people are saying that, he's been dealt a raw deal. I don't think so. I think he's been brilliantly handled by Ten Hag. The situations have been very well dealt with by the manager. But people are not acknowledging one fact, Mariah, Lance, and it is this. It's not that Cristiano Ronaldo's pace and mobility are not what they were, because clearly they couldn't have been at 37. The elephant in the room that nobody before now has spoken of, Cristiano Ronaldo's finishing is not what it was.
No.
It's a fact. The chances that Cristiano Ronaldo missed last season, that he has missed this season, that he even missed in the last season he spent at Juventus, especially the Champions League, there is no doubt his finishing efficiency has waned, and that's a large part of his show, because he's frustrated with himself as well.
Right.
Because moves that he used to finish, plays that he used, opportunities that he used to tuck away, he's not doing it anymore, and he's frustrated with himself and the system and everybody around him because he's just not what he once was.
Lance, what do you think would have caused this? Because Cristiano appears a bit unhappy at Manchester United. Nobody wants to go to a club and, of course, feel as if they're being undermined, especially based on the reputation he would have built up.
Yeah, for someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, he will feel undermined a lot more easily than many others because of how big his ego is. I wonder about, if you talk about the decline in his finishing proficiency, you wonder about confidence going. Ronaldo is not the type of person that I think lacks confidence.
But I think he has been lacking since being at Man U.
Yeah,
Nobody has treated him in that manner.
Yeah, but I don't know if that has shaken his confidence. George pointed out that his finishing has declined, so his ability has declined a bit. I'm not sure if, based on his personality, I will conclude that his confidence is gone. I say that to say this, though, that having scored in midweek in the Europa League, I would start him on the weekend, because I think he is the type of player who will flourish coming off a good performance, given what he has gone through in recent weeks. And I would start him for sure. And I think the more he scores, the more he will keep scoring.
Yeah,
but the thing is, what I'm trying to say is that what we are talking about based on his record will not happen. We are thinking that he gets a goal and he sparks back into life and goes on a run of scoring in consecutive games. That Cristiano Ronaldo is dead. The fact is this: a goal scorer, an elite player, or an elite craftsman or woman in whichever field, when things came by instinct, when those things don't come by instinct anymore, it affects the whole makeup, the whole person. And I'm saying there was a time, well, for the bulk of his career, Ronaldo could square up a defender. A quick shimmy to step over, to buy himself space, on whichever foot he wanted to get balance on to shoot, and he would shoot and he'd score. He doesn't have the explosiveness to buy that yard of space anymore. That affects his psyche.
And I think to expect that of him is
but George,
impossible.
I hear you say that affects his psyche.
Yes.
Is in the narrative that you're presenting, is psyche the same as confidence?
No, because
So you're thinking that Ronaldo still has the confidence. He just doesn't have the physical
Lance,
ability to do what he did 5 years ago.
When Cristiano Ronaldo, and if the man lives to 90 years old, he'll have the confidence.
Okay.
It will never leave him.
Yes.
But on the field, in the moment, the psyche, you know how things come instinctive.
Yeah.
You just... And you're gone, and you start thinking about it now,
Yes.
and it weighs on your mind. The chance you missed before, that never happened before. You just look for the next chance.
Yeah.
Those are things.
I would agree with you, Jordan. I
Yeah.
don't think, based on his ability now, that he will be as prolific as he has been for decades. But I still think if he scores Wednesday and he's up against a West Ham who are just mid-table,
it would help.
I think he would score again. I think if he starts this weekend, he'll score again.
Right. Well, team.
I am not as convinced as George is that Ronaldo is finished.
No, but
I know he isn't as good as he was before.
Right, but I didn't say he's finished.
We don't think he's finished. I just don't think he's the same. We can't expect the same
and that's
from
what
a
I said.
Cristiano
I
Ronaldo.
said that Ronaldo's finishing is declining.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. People are saying pace decline, work rate decline, but if he gets chances, he will score. No, he's getting chances by the bucket loads.
Yeah.
He's not finishing them.
So
that has declined.
let me qualify what I just said. I don't mean to say that you said that he is finished. But what you have said before is that the Ronaldo that we knew is finished. That Ronaldo is finished.
But of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of
it would be,
course.
and
Yes,
I keep
yes, yes.
saying it would be impossible for you to expect anything else from him.
For sure.
Well, Liverpool, they're at home to struggling Leeds on Saturday. Easy 3 points for Klopp's men.
Yeah, Leeds have been rotten. Liverpool are brimming with confidence now. Although their fortunes in the Champions League may not necessarily provide a key indicator, best indicator of what they'll do in the Premier League, because apart from Napoli in that group, Ajax, apart from that first game against Rangers, have been awful. Rangers are awful, and Napoli are very, very good. And Napoli took the strap to Liverpool. So Leeds, they played well enough to take something from the game, their last one. Jesse Marsh is under pressure. The fans booed him, booed the team off the pitch against, I think was it Wolves? No. Leeds lost their last game. So coming off that defeat, there are serious questions around the future of the American. I think they'll be primed to play very well, but I think Liverpool are much too strong.
Yeah.
Darwin Núñez is in form right now.
Since they lost to Chelsea, Leeds has been losing all their matches.
No, they beat Chelsea.
Since they beat Chelsea,
Yeah.
sorry. They've just gone on a decline. Lance, anything?
I expect Liverpool to win, but Liverpool's form in the Premier League has been fluctuating. They've lost 2 of their last 4 Premier League games to Arsenal and Nottingham Forest.
Yes.
They have the quality to win, that's for sure, as one of the best teams in England. But their form isn't reliable. There are days when we see Liverpool play and they're just not getting their execution in the way that they should. So I would expect them to win, but I'm watching Liverpool for now. I don't think they are fluent. I think that's the word I'm looking for. They're not fluent in the Premier League.
Right, and Arsenal, speaking about fluent, they're up against Nottingham Forest. Do we expect Arsenal to continue being Arsenal right now?
Gunners have been wobbling in the past 3 or so games, really, really wobbling. And the Europa League defeat, I don't want to read too much into it, except for the fact that what we saw against PSV, we've been seeing in the Premier League in recent games. So Arsenal, Nottingham Forest are playing Arsenal at the right time for Nottingham Forest. If they were going to get 3 points from the Gunners, I don't think they would have gotten the 3 points 2 or 3 rounds before. No, if Nottingham Forest win, I wouldn't be surprised. And I'd expect them, I think they'd be very confident they can get something from the game.
Wow.
I like Arsenal to win.
Yeah, me too. I have some of the players. Let's take a break. Come right back.